Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Backfire Simsport Sim TV here at the Sonoma Raceway. We're in the middle of qualifying. My name's Ryan Walker, and I'm joined by Sam Boozin on the cameras, and we also have a special guest here tonight, Mr. Yasumai. Welcome to the booth.
Thank you, guys. Good evening, everybody. Making a special guest appearance here in the commentary booth, taking a break from actually driving this track and watching the guys and just helping out on what's going on here. Good evening.
Yeah, it's good to have you, Yaz, and qualifying's just got underway, and we'll have a bit of a race recap from the last round at Interlagos while that's underway. Last week we had a good result for the BSTV esports team with Tyler Newitt taking the win in GT4, followed by his teammate Rob Vent, and then AAA rounding out the podium in that class, and then Stuart Dick finished in fourth. So Stuart Dick having a good run and keeping up his championship challenge. And then in TCR, Chris Shaw took the win with BSTV esports, Gary Craig taking second, with Carl Hardy finishing in third and rounding at the podium, with Pete Bingham taking his best result of the season, I believe in fourth. But as we're in qualifying, it might be a good time to have a look at the championship points as well in GT4 and TCR, if you can bring that up, Sam. There we go. Thank you very much. And Stuart Dick from Scotland leads the championship by Tyler Newitt in second, with AAA in third. So it looks like AAA is out of the championship hunt, but Stuart Dick's pretty much the man in form at the moment, and Tyler Newitt is still just managing to hold in there as well in the championship. So you might be able to pull something out the bag. And then TCR, if you can have a look at that as well. TCR has been led by Chris Shaw with 1,712 points, with Gary Craig in second after a great run. So that good form that Gary's been having, he's dragged himself into second place with Tom Stanley in third. Tom's had to miss a couple of rounds due to work commitments, I believe. So he's pretty much out of that championship contention, if you like. But Scott Malcolm's another person that's had a bit of an up and down season, you could say, in fourth place. But fourth place is still a good position to be in, considering that he's not really had the luck he's admitted at times. But TCR is still really, really close at the moment. But as we're in the middle of qualifying at the moment, I'll ask you first, Sabai. Have you got much experience around this track?
No, I actually don't have much experience on the track. I've tried it a bit this week, and I just couldn't get the hang of it. It's just one of those tracks that it's very challenging. It's left and right. It's a short track. I think it's around about a minute 16, a minute 17 to get around. It's very short but very tricky. The guys have to be on it this week. Lots of quick left and rights, and then ups and downs, blind corners, and all the rest. So the guys are really going to be on it this week. So we'll check it out.
And on the screen at the moment, we had the championship standings the championship standings were on the screen right now. Thanks for that, Sam, as I forgot to run through them. But at the moment, it's currently being led by Isometric GT4, with a second place going to BSTV Esports Yellow, and then rounding at the top three is BSTV Esports Green. So the two BSTV Esports teams still hanging in there. They giving the Isometric guys a run for the money, but with fourth place, 9 Flight Racing, Isometric TCR, and then 6 Result Clothing. So some good teams up there at the top. Thanks for bringing those standings up there, Sam. But at the moment, we're in the middle of qualifying, which is currently being led by Tyler Newitt in pole position in GT4, with Stefan Goldborn there. That's a surprise for me at the moment for VTS Germany. Third, as Stuart Dick pops himself into second. And then Rob Venn, the person that finished in second last week at Interlagos, in fourth. Paul Burgess in fifth. And the Perks, sorry about that, my iRacing just crashed. But there some good names up there at GT4.
I think Stefan Goebel has been had massive improvements over the season. He's shown his pace. I think it was mentioned last week that his pace has improved, and he's managed to put races together. He's doing a lot better in his race management, which has gotten him a couple of good positions. Even in Sunday's race in the GT3, he was running up there in first place in the AM, first place in the AM classification. So he's definitely improved over the season.
And then just taking a look in GT4 as well, I did notice we've got a new name in GT4 is Yaroslav Shebula. So a name that we recognise from the Euro V8 League. That's in the past and a pretty quick driver as well. And he's always there and thereabouts. But he could be one to keep a lookout for tonight. But I have to agree, Stefan's one of those people that's slowly been improving this season. And I think he also, with having a teammate in that class with Marcus Blitz, I think it's been a major help.
Talking about teammates and major help, I think Rob Venn has shown massive improvement with next to Tyler Newitt over the last few races. His pace has improved, his racecraft has improved. I think they had a 1-2 last week. We last season, Stefan we mentioned, and then Rob, were sort of battling for midfield positions. We now they're both running in podium positions. So there's been massive improvements across the board there.
Absolutely. Is also on TCR at the moment. That's currently being led in qualifying by BSTV Esports' very own Gary Craig. And Gary's another one of those drivers that's been slowly getting to the front and towards the end of the season, and he's been finishing on the podium a few times now. And it's definitely shown in the championship. But qualifying as well, Chris Shaw in second and Carl Hardy in third. But Martin Brennan, the surprise for me in TCR, in fourth place at the moment.
I think that since Mark has joined, Martin's joined, Brennan has joined. He's put in a lot of time to get better. So the more time he's going to put in, the better he's going to get. That's for sure. That we know. And in this league, there's so much people around to help. He's found himself in a good group, in a good team. He's found himself in a good team. With guys who are going to help him, and he's just going to get better from here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking through the list in TCR as well, we've got the usual suspects up at the front, but James Neve doing well in qualifying. But as we watch Carl Hardy at the moment, Carl is one of those drivers that I've been keeping an eye on, and he's one of those drivers that's being known to like the odd pie from time to time.
I don't think odd. It's not the odd pie. I think it's the every pie. But yeah, there's definitely been a massive improvement on Carl's side. From what I heard in season 1, on to season 2, and it's just been he's come on in leaps and bounds. So he's just been a bit unlucky from race to race. In a few of the races, he's been up there and either run out of fuel or had a bit of a knock towards the end, or it's just a matter of him finishing well. But definitely, again, the pace is up. He's able to run it with the top guys. Just needs to get a consistency.
Indeed, as we look at Stefan Gobo at the moment, and currently coming through that twisty section, and this is, for me anyway, it's one of those tricky sections, Sonoma. Anyway, because I find it's you want to carry the momentum and carry as much speed as possible, but if you carry too much speed, especially onto this back straight here before the final corner, it can catch you out a little bit, and you'll run wide onto the grass. But looking at Tyler Newt at the moment, he's I don't think he's let us know what the strategy will be, but I'm guessing anyway, the strategy will be you might be able to just make it on one stop, or maybe do a bit of fuel saving to make it on one stop. But I think 2 stops is probably the way to go around here, I believe, depending on looking at the size of the track.
Well, look, I think it's a bit of a mix and match here. I think the BMW is able to go just about halfway. I think that it will probably be one lap if they're going to do a one-stop strategy, it's going to be one lap of fuel saving, which isn't much. But when it comes to Tyler, he knows what he's doing. He's shown that whatever is required when it comes to strategy, he's got it down. I don't think anybody else has matched him when it comes to being able to do the kind of strategy work that he does. We'll have to wait and see what everyone decides. I mean, it has been a contentious issue, the fuel saving versus going flat out, one stopper versus two stopper. But I think it's put a good mix into. It's definitely added some extra depth and interesting outcomes because of it. So I'm quite excited about the tightness of being able to go one or two. So yeah, we'll see what everyone decides.
As I look at Tyler on screen now and his beautiful VR headset, and no doubt he'll probably be listening to us and give us a wave, hopefully, as he heads into turn 1 and turn 2. And it looks like he's catching up to one of the ESTV Esports TCR cars, but hopefully he won't be hampered too much.
It looks like he's made a good effort of cleaning his room this week. I think he gets a lot of stick for it, so I'm glad he's done something about it.
As it comes round to... sorry, yes?
No, I'm just looking. It looks like Stewart has got the run on everybody at this stage. He's just been in a league of his own when it comes to qualifying this season. But Tyler's is not too far off. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that front row looks like.
And you were talking about what car will possibly have the advantage around here. Do you think the Porsche is probably the car to have around here with the nature of the corners and some of the corners you have to attack the curves? Do you think the Porsche will be the best car for that?
So listening to what the guys have been saying, they're saying that the Porsche has been a little bit more agile around here. There's not much long straights for the BMW to pull away on. But that being said, I mean, looking at that, the top 4, top 5 there on the current standings, it's completely mixed up. So, what the one gives, the other one gets. So I think it's all going to be tight. It's very difficult to say which one's going to pull away from the pack.
Just switched to Gary Craig now coming around the final corner, and like I say, Gary's been, if I was to pick a driver of the season or most improved driver of the season, at the end of the season, I would say Gary's probably the number one choice for me, because sometimes he's not always been quick, but he's kept out of trouble, and he's the strategy call. He's like Tyler in a way. When it comes to strategy, he can make some interesting choices, but most of the time it seems to work.
Sure, I think looking at the table, it sort of speaks for itself. That is right up there with Chris and Tom. He's battling with him, and he's got a couple of wins this season. Someone that's also just been very unlucky. Just looking at him there in third place is Mark Eden. I mean, he's just had the worst of luck in quite a few of the races. But I mean, his pace has always been up there. He's come to just short of 4 tenths off the front row there. So if you can just get a bit of luck and stay out of trouble, you could put in a good show here tonight.
Yeah, Mark was really unlucky at Long Beach earlier this season. He was leading the race in TCR, and it just fell apart towards the end of the race. And I don't know if it was maybe his nerves getting to him. Maybe he's not used to leading races that much. Because I know from my experience in the past, I've always not got nervous, but you get that shaky leg feeling when you're trying to keep calm, but you can't do anything. And I think that might have just got to him, possibly.
I think it's just I don't think it's nerves. I think it's just sort of unluckiness, and you make a mistake here or make a mistake there, or and everything just sort of unravels. But as the season has gone on, he's just shown the pace. He's had the pace. It's just a matter of getting it over the line at the end. That's been just been what he hasn't been able to do. But like I said, it's also been a bit unlucky. We come together a few times with some people. Hopefully, if we can keep it clean tonight, we'll get a good finish.
He's doing good in qualifying at the moment. As I look at James Neve, and he's doing a decent job in qualifying at the moment in TCR, and part of Roger Morton's team. So he's got a good teammate with Roger, and Roger currently last in TCR qualifying at the moment. But he's one of those drivers that he not quick, but seems to keep out of trouble and get some decent finishes. And I don't know if it's just me, but I do like that livery that he's got.
It's a bit alive there. It's very alive. It makes me hungry though. I'm just waiting for the pizza to arrive at the door.
Oh, apparently his team sponsored by Domino's is just look at the back one or the rear windshield now. Every time I look at that Domino's deco, I can't help but laugh a little bit.
Yeah. But the TCR group, I mean, if you're looking at it there, I mean, short of Roger, I mean, there's a second in it from first to 11th. I'm sure Roger will get in a lap close to the guys. So the TCR group is very tight. As I say, that someone's going off-roading there. That Pete van Gogh. But it's a tight group in the TCR field. They're not. Look at that quality times. There's nothing between them.
As you look at Paul Burgess at the moment, currently 6th in qualifying, and Paul Burgess is at times this season he's shown flashes of speed, and he's been up at the front challenging for wins, and he was challenging for the win last week at Interlagos with AAA until both of them had a coming together, and that allowed the two BSTV Esports teammates of Tyler Newitt and Rob Venn to benefit and get finishing first and second. So it's just unfortunate, but it's one of those racing deals when you're going for the win that sometimes contact is always inevitable. And at the moment as well, AAA jumps up to third in qualifying, and I think what do you do if you're AAA, Yaz? I think looking at the championship, he's just about out of it. So do you try and help Stuart Dick, or do you just stick to your own game plan, if you like?
Yeah, well, knowing the asymmetric guys, they as competitive between each other as they are teammates. So, I think it will be a case of Abdul still racing as hard as he can. I don't think they'll take each other out. As hard as they will race, they will respect each other. But I don't think if AAA is going to be in the lead, he's not going to give up a spot for Stewart just for the points. Like, a win is still a win. These guys race hard. If Stewart's going to win the championship, he's going to have to do it the right way and do what he needs to do. Even though AAA is, 200 points off at this stage, which is, I think he's just entering would get you some points. So, I just think the guys are going to race hard regardless, and it will put on a good show. And with regards to Paul, I think he's been a bit unlucky. I know I'm a bit biased because he's my teammate, but he's been unlucky. I think he got taken out a couple of times. I think it was at Alton Park. Alton Park, I think we had a run-in with Tyler, and then last week with AAA. Not Alton Park. It was Silverstone. We was in the lead and got taken out, and then again last week and ended up in with AAA. So he's been up there. He's shown it. He's been up there. He got his first win this season as well. So he's got the pace. It's just just trying to stay out of trouble, or trouble staying away from him, and he could get some good finishes. It's just been some unlucky races there.
As we look at Timofeo and that beautiful, as I like to call it, Dunkin' Donuts livery, coming around coming across the start-finish line now. I don't know why. Every time I look at Tim's livery, I just have images of Dunkin' Donuts in my head for some reason. But it looks different, that's for sure. And he's currently 11th in GT4. But Timofeo, he's again not being quick, but he's stuck at it and just going about his business. And just trying to finish races as we're in the final couple of minutes of qualifying. And at the moment, as I look at Marcus Blitz, it looks like pretty much everyone's just finishing their laps or starting the final lap in qualifying. But what do you expect from tonight, Yaz?
Yes, you have to call. I think that looking at qualifying time, I think the top three are looking good. That's the top three in the championship. They showed that through the season. They're showing the pace. I'm looking forward to our new entry. Bill's not here to butcher his name. It's Sabula. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do if he can mix it up with him at the top. And then I think if I had to pick a winner without jinxing anybody, I'd like to see Stewart come away with one. He's led a few times and been let down by an extra pit stop here and there. So I'd like to see Stewart come away with a win here tonight.
Scott, yeah, I was about to say as well. Stuart's not had any luck with when it comes to pit stops and fuel. He even admitted that he trusted the crew chief was put in the wrong amount of fuel, and so he couldn't make it. But but if he needs fuel advice, he could always go to Scott Malcolm, who's apparently known for running 74,000 fuel calculators.
Yeah, I think he just needs to go back to just using. Just get out an abacus or something to calculate his fuel. It would probably do better than what he's doing right now. So, but yeah, we'll see. I think that on the TCR side, I'd like to see someone else at the front, other than Chris Shaw, Gary Craig. It would be fun, but I almost think that it would be one of them in any case. So yeah, it would just be nice to see them mix it up.
As a qualifying grid is up on the screen now with GT4, the pole position being taken by Stuart Duck for asymmetric, with Tyler Newton second for BSTV Esports Yellow. Third place is AAA for asymmetric GT4, Yaroslav Shebulov and fourth for GTL VRT. Fifth place Rob Venn for BSTV Esports Orange. Sixth place Andy Perks for Club Dietz. Seventh place Paul Burgess for Nine Flight Racing. Eighth Stefan Goebel for VTS Germany. Ninth Tim O'Fale. 10th Ben Collin for BSTV Esports Orange. So good to see Ben around yet again. And Marcus Blitz. And 11th for VTS Germany. And then in the TCRs, we have got Chris Shaw in the pole position with Gary Craig for BSTV Esports Green on the front row. Mark Heron for asymmetric TCR in third, with Carl Hardy rounded out row 2 for Result Clothing. Pete Bingham in fifth for BSTV Esports Green. David Dares in sixth for Result Clothing. Seventh is James Neve for Matthews Transport iRacing team. And then eighth place is Jamie Jeffrey for CCR, Martin Brennan. And ninth for Safeguard by Result, Scott Malcolm for BSTV Esports Yellow. 11th place is Pete Van Gogh for Workguard by Result. And then 12th place Roger Morton for Matthews Transport iRacing team, rounding out the TCR grid.
That's looking good.
I was just about to say, just waiting for some people to join the grid and waiting for the timer to run down, and we'll be underway with the formation lap. But before we get started with that, Yaz, what do you think are the best or where are the best passing opportunities? Do you think?
There's the pit straight where they're passing in now is if you don't get a good exit off the last corner, which is a very tight corner, you could be susceptible to someone coming up behind you and making the pass. I think that's probably going to be the easiest. The rest of this track is very up and down, and not very easy to hold it together to make a pass. So I think the best place is going to be on the start finish straight. Just getting a good exit. You got to get a good exit on that last corner to keep it there. The rest of it is just very tight.
Indeed, yeah, I always thought that the final corner before the home straight, I've always thought that as a good passing opportunity, but it's one of those corners that you've got to try and get a great run behind someone to try and make a move and try and catch them out. But if you lock up into that corner and you make a move, sometimes it can end up horribly in disaster. So don't be surprised if you see some people trying to make a move there. But I think through this section, you might see some people being caught out, especially when it comes to these GT4s coming up, trying to lap the TCRs.
I think with the with the undulation, the up and down, it makes it very difficult to hold traction. So coming up the hill there in the section up the hill is going to be very slippery. So there's definitely not a place to pass. But yeah, I think that probably the easiest and best place to be is here where they're coming up now.
Is it just about to come round the?
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, it's just about to come round the final corner, and off we go as Tyler Newitt gets caught in big time across the line, and Stuart Dick benefited. Oh, someone's on the wall. That's Yaroslav Shebelo, I believe. Oh, it's Tim Vale. Oh, sorry, I'm getting mixed up here. Everything's going on.
Looks like that looks like our new entry is gone off in the wall. That's not a good start there.
The TCRs come up through turn 1 and turn 2, and it looks like they've had a relatively cleaner start than the GT4s. It looks like Triple A's had issues, and he's recovering onto the track, and he's lost his bonnet.
What's happened there?
So it looks like he just lost it.
He just bounced over the curb and lost traction there. Exactly there where I was saying that it's going to be very difficult. TCR is also looking okay. Ooh. Going too wide. Roger Morton, that's Roger Morton with his pizza delivery. Looks like
just looking at the replay now of Roger Morton, and it looks like not Roger Morton, Yaroslav Shebelo, and they just ran wide offline and clipped the wall, and it was so unfortunate after having a great qualifying.
It just looked like he forgot to brake there. Yeah, he was running very tight behind Tyler, who had a bad slow start, and then just looked like he forgot to brake. Okay, looks like Paul's up to fourth, so that's he's benefited from some of the mishaps up front with Cebula and Triple A.
Yep, and he's got behind him in 5th place as well, Andy Perks, who's had a good start as well, and so has Tim O'Feo as they come through this tricky, twisty section. And Paul Bears has had a good start, and they currently behind Rob Venn, but he's not pressing on Rob, it's Paul that's under pressure from Andy Perks.
Andy's gone. He's picked up 1 spot there. Paul's picked up 3 from start. Timotheo's the big winner. He's also picked up 3 places from 9th to 6th. So yeah, looks good looks mixed up in the GT4s, which hopefully we'll see what transpires there. The TCRs look like they're going smoothly. Chris Shaw isn't still in the lead. Mark Heron's picked up a place, so he's picked up Craig's place. So yeah, they've swapped places from the start. But yeah, the guys are going pretty cleanly for now.
Yeah, and Scott Malcolm at the moment is stuck between James Neve and Jamie Jeffrey. Is that Jamie Jeffrey, by the way? Yeah, it's Jamie Jeffrey. So stuck behind those 2 guys, and Scott Malcolm's pretty much being hounded at the moment. But Mark Herring gained a position and moved into 2nd place as well in TCR. So a good start from Mark at the moment.
Scott's actually picked up 2 places from the start, so that's good to see. It's just that he keeps up the pace there. He's also been good this season, but also just been unlucky. With his fuel strategies, and that has cost him a bit. It looks like Abdul is coming through the field now.
Yep, so Triple A's got his fast repair, and Gary Craig, he's not really, he's trying to keep up with Mark Herron, but on the other hand, Gary Craig is under pressure from Carl Hardy, and it looks like Scott Malcolm's under pressure from Jamie Jeffrey as well. So as I thought someone disconnected there in the background, but it's just Martin Brennan. So yeah, hopefully Stacey's watching the chat tonight and cheering him on.
Martin's been really good this season. He stuck to it. When he joined us the end of last season, he was going about things and learning learning how to drive these cars. And it's not easy when you start, but you can see he's coming on leaps and bounds.
Yeah, I think being in a team has definitely helped Martin as well. As Scott Malcolm was close to the wall there on the exit, but I agree Martin's been he's been improving a lot. And I think being in a team such as the result team has definitely helped, and just he's been putting in a lot of practice as well, and it's also, I think it's being helped by the result clothing team putting on a bunch of hosted practice sessions, and I think that's been benefiting him. As we look at Stefan Goebel currently under a pressure from Ben Cullen for, it looks like, what position is that? That's 7th place. So good to see Ben back, like I said. And the last time he raced was at Daytona, I believe.
Yeah, Ben's sort of jumped in and out as he's gone along. And he's also a good racer. He's been really good in the GT3s. So he jumps in and out, and he just adds another, car to the grid who can be competitive. So that's always nice to have him around. Stefan's now running in 7th. Still not, the leaders haven't really pulled away as yet. There is a gap between Andy Perks and Timotheo. But yeah, I'm sure things will tighten up a bit there. Just watching Carl Hardy now in 4th place, staying on the back of Gary Craig. And like we mentioned earlier, Carl has been phenomenal in his improvement. So let's hope he can just stick on the back there and make the best of the start.
Yeah, he has, and I think Carl Hardy admitted that his only weakness or downside in the TCR is the fuel saving. He says he just can't do it, but still he's right up there at the moment, challenging Gary Craig, and wait in the background there, Pete Bingham's currently in a battle with the other result clothing the team car of David Ayres. So David Ayres is, but yeah, he's not been up there challenging for wins, but most of the time he's up there finishing races, picking up points for the team. So he might not be quick, but he still gets the job done, picking up points. So it's like Stefan Goebel's basically getting mugged by Ben Cullen, and it looks like Ben's got the move done as they leave just enough room heading up to this twisty section, and Triple A has managed to recover quickly as well.
That's a very tricky place to get through too wide. Someone has to let up there, and it looks like Stefan has done it. You can't fight all the way through there, because it's a case of both cars coming off second best. So rather play it safe, and it looks like Stefan was the one to blink first there.
Indeed, as Paul Bear just heads up to turn 1 and turn 2, and he's putting Rob Venn under huge pressure as well. So yeah, it looks like Paul is a quicker driver at the moment, and credit to Andy Perks as well. He's managing to hold on to Paul.
He's been quite quick this season. He's been up there in most of the races with pace. So we'll see him. If he sticks to this, we'll definitely see him challenge for one of the top spots in the new season when the new season comes, for sure.
And that Tyler Lewitt's putting Stewart under pressure as well. And Stuart, he was away at one point, but it looks like Tyler's managed to rein him back in. And what do you do if you're Stuart? Do you let Tyler go if he gets a run, or do you try and defend as much as possible, or wait until the pit stops and then go for it?
I think if we know Stewart, and Stewart is a through racer, so I mean he's not going to let Tyler through if he can help it. So Tyler's going to have to definitely work for the pass on Stewart for sure. Tyler will battle him, and things are looking up here. It doesn't look like Triple A took his fast repair. He still doesn't have a bonnet, so he's still going there with that same car.
Yeah, credit to Triple A. I thought he would have lost some straight line speed with that hit into the wall, but it doesn't seem to be. Doesn't seem as if the damage is that bad. So, considering he's not got a bonnet, he's doing well to get back through the field.
So Tim Afeo in 6th place. So the guys have been chasing him there, but I've raced with him. I've been attached to him in races many times. He's a very difficult customer to pass. So we'll wait and see what happens there now when Triple A comes up to the back of him. But yeah, so he really does know how to make a car very wide. So we'll see what happens there now when once Triple A pulls up to the back of him there. But there seems to be a gap growing between the group and the front pack. So hopefully, if Triple A gets past, we'll see if we can catch that front pack now. Definitely lapping very fast, even with that damage that he's got.
Yeah, another person making a recovery through the field as well is Yaroslav Shiabula as well. He's getting back through the field quickly, and considering it hit the wall, it doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. But I think Yaroslav's already took his fast repair.
He was in the pits. He went straight into the pits. He didn't try to recover from that or drive in front of the TCR or anything. He towed immediately when once he hit the wall. And he took his fast repair and he's now back out on track. Unfortunately, he's a lap down at this stage. But yeah, let's see what his pace will be like.
Oh, Jamie!
Ooh.
That was a bit of an elbows out move, if you like.
Yeah, I'm sure Scott will be happy about this.
Oh.
Nice drift. Nice drift from Piet van Gogh.
Yeah, I don't think Scott. Yeah,
Scott's not happy with it.
Scott's so close to the wall. Sorry, Yaz.
Yeah, no, I don't think Scott's happy with the way that Jamie Jeffrey came past him. Not really one of you need to really give to make the pass there. You really need two drivers who are on the same page. It's one thing to make a pass. But sometimes in a corner you do need the other driver to give you a bit of room, and I don't think that was there. I don't think that Scott needed to. But let's have a look at the replay.
Yeah, so it looks like Jamie's got the run heading up the hill, and I think was that a bit of a lunge? Scott, I would say Scott left the gap open, but I think it was just a racing deal.
It looks like Jamie's gone a little off the corner there after he's passed. He didn't keep the inside line, just slightly. But I think there was quite a bit of room that Scott has left. So, yeah.
Tim's got a bit of a trend starting to form behind him now, and Triple A is trying to make a move. He's close enough, but I think he's going to wait until the exit of this corner, heading up to the final corner. Maybe he's got the run now, but yeah, you're correct, Jazz. Tim O'Feo's being a bit of an obstacle.
Just saying, I've experienced it before, and yeah, as you can see now, it becomes when you're trying to get past, you really need to you need to be careful that you're not hitting the car ahead, but at the same time you need to be wary of the cars behind you. As you can see there, that when Cullen made the pass on Abdul, but Abdul's recovered now. He's back on the tail of Tim. I think this is going to be a good battle here when to watch him get past.
Tim goes defensive again, and he's not doing anything wrong with his defences. It looks like Triple A's got the run and got the better exit, and he's up there inside. Can he get the move done? Tim's not making it easy. As both of them just about, I thought they were going to go 3 wide there, but Tim will fail, doing a great job of defense. Oh, that was so close to being contact.
Yeah. That's sort of like I said. This is the experience that I've had with Tim. He's extremely. He knows how to drive defensively, but it looks like Triple A's got it now. And I think the rest is, the rest behind now. You can see it's a very tight pack. Let's see what's going to happen here. Ooh, that's tight.
Oh, there was a bit of a slight bit of contact there, but luckily everyone managed to survive. And great move by Triple A. And Ben Cullen tried to take advantage of that open gap, but couldn't. Yeah, Ben Cullen did take advantage of that open gap. Get your words right, Ryan.
Looks like Tim's come off third best there. He's lost 2 places in that one corner. But yeah, I think that sometimes when it comes to defensive driving, you can only do that much if the guys behind you are faster. They're gonna make a way through, which we've seen happen there now. Still a big gap that Triple A needs to make up now. Now that he's got the open air in front of him. And by open air, I don't mean the bonnet that's missing. I just mean there's a gap from him to the next car up ahead. What's that? A 11-second gap that he needs to make up now. I think what he needs to hope for now is that the front pack stay together and start battling and keep each other up while he's got the free air. He doesn't even just keeps racing.
Yep, and looking at Carl Hardy at the moment in 4th place, he's still not managed to get by Gary Craig, and I think Carl Hardy, he's in contention for a podium tonight. But absolutely, I think it's just a matter of trying to get by Gary, or maybe even using the pit stops to try and make a jump. But Gary Craig at the moment doing a good job keeping him behind, and these guys have lost touch slightly with Mark Heron, who's managed to just pull away and build a bit of a breathing space.
I think for Carl, it's going to be a matter of patience now. I think that he's on the pace now. But I think he just needs to be patient and take advantage if anything happens, rather than trying to force a move. I think just stick to the pack and maybe the last 10 or 15 minutes, that's when you can start trying to attack. But it's just about relaxing and staying behind Craig, Gary Craig, for the most part, as long as you can. They've sort of created a gap between themselves, and what's going on here? Stewart and Tyler's going out here into the final corner.
Stewart went defensive slightly, I think, and I think if you're Tyler now, if you can't get by, there's always that other alternative of trying to get by Stewart. One, doing fuel saving, and 2, maybe pitting early and trying to do an undercut. It looks like Tyler's getting a run on Stewart in a few corners here, but Stewart is Stewart, so he's the experienced customer, so he knows exactly what he's doing in terms of keeping Tyler behind him. So we'll see. And it looks like Paul Burgess is right on the back of Rob Wynn as well. So this front 5 is looking like it's going to be a very hot race. And we're only 15 minutes in now, so there's still another 45 minutes to go. So it's going to be fun to watch this unfold. Indeed, I was just about to say that as well. That Tyler Nutt and Stuart Dick battle away. It's allowing the other 3 cars behind them to keep in touch, or close up rather. And Tyler Nutt pulls out and tries to distract Stuart. They maybe try and make him do a mistake, but Stuart's one of those drivers that's not really intimidated that easy. As you look back as well, looking at Ben Cullen in 7th, and he's got by Tim will fail, and he's managed to close up to the back of Triple A. But Triple A is one of those drivers that's not an easy driver to get by.
Triple A is in 3rd place for a reason. He's quick. So it's going to take some doing to get past him. Looks like Tyler's really taking a look at Stewart here. I don't know if Stewart is struggling with Tyler's just got extra pace at this stage.
Yeah, I was just about to say that as well. I don't know if Stuart's struggling, maybe with the setup, or maybe just not comfortable with the track. But as I took Rob Venn, I thought he was going to try and take a look on Tyler, but I don't think he'll do anything silly. I think he'll just sit back and try and maybe support Tyler, but there's a ride on board with Tyler at the moment, and it seems to be at the moment that this BMW is much stronger in the race, judging by this bit. But that's so close to being contact.
Tyler just needs to, I think Tyler's driving very well here, but I think everybody's trying to make moves at this stage, trying to distract each other. Rob Venn is doing very well up there in third place. I think since he's moved to the Porsche this season, and also being alongside Tyler, it's really helped him with his racing. Last week he finished second, albeit with a bit of incidents that happened up ahead of him. But I mean, still second is second. He's had a couple of podiums this season. So yeah, he's definitely improved a whole lot with his racecraft and his pace this season. And I'm sure that Tyler's had a lot to do with it. Helping him out in practice sessions. Also being, I'm sure they're chatting to each other through the race. It's been, I've raced with him in the mid-pack last season, so it's been wonderful to see them improve. I know Stefan Goebel is running in ninth at the moment. I don't know if he's just not enjoying this track at this stage, but just watching the improvement has been amazing. I'm actually quite glad to see them up at the top there.
And there's Stacey says evening in the chat, and good to see you in chat there, Stacey. As looking at Chris Shaw, currently leading TCR at the moment, he's got about a 3.8 second gap to Mark Herron in second, and Mark Herron's got a bit of a gap to Gary Craig in third. So at the moment, the field's pretty much spread out in TCR anyway, but it's relatively calm at the moment. They've still got, this is probably the closest Battle 1 track in the GT4 class, with Rob Venn in third and Paul Burgess fourth and Andy Perks fifth, and
something's happened in the GT4 field, because there's now a much bigger gap between Tyler and Rob, where they were running on each other's tails for quite some time. So something must have happened there. That Rob has dropped back by nearly a second from Tyler.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm taking a guess anyway, but Rob Venn might just be backing off slightly and just trying to hold up Paul Burgess. Yeah, that's it. Maybe just trying to help Tyler and just help Tyler concentrate on trying to get by Stuart Dick. But looking at Stefan Goebel at the moment, he's caught up to the back of Tim O'Fale for 8th place. So I think it's just a matter of time before Stefan gets by. And he's getting really close now. We'll try and make a move into the final corner. Tim goes defensive, so Stefan can't take the inside line.
As you've seen them in the Triple A struggle to get past, I think it's going to be quite a task for Stefan to get by there. But yeah, it looks like Triple A is catching up to the pack. When he got by Tim, it was about a 13-second gap there. So I mean, he's only down to 10 seconds from the lead now. So he's definitely taking time out of the leaders as expected.
Yep, there's Rob Venn got so close to the wall there. Sorry to interrupt, guys.
No worries. It's going to be interesting to see what happens now. We're coming up close to the pit window now, so we're going to have to see who blinks first here when it comes to the pit strategy. We've seen Tyler go long in all the races. He's been the king of fuel saving. I mean, last week at Interlagos, he went in 2 laps more than anybody else. So yeah, we'll see what happens here. I know he was saying that there's not many long straights around this track to be able to fuel save without losing a lot of time, and he hasn't really backed off Stewart yet. So we'll have to see if he's been able to save to go to the halfway mark and only do one stop. And then likewise, we'll have to see what Stewart does. Apparently, the Porsche is a little bit heavier on fuel around here. So we'll see. We're coming up to that. In the next few minutes, we'll see if anybody's going to make a stop.
Yeah, we know on the TCR as well that the BSTV Esports, the green team of Gary Craig and Pete Bingham like to pit at the same time. So don't be surprised if you see that around here tonight. As I look at Marcus Blitz, the teammate of Stefan Gobel for VTS Germany, and I don't know if it's just me, Yaz, but Stefan's livery seems to be my favourite in GT4, and closely followed by Marcus Blitz's livery.
Yeah, I do like that chrome mirror red that he's got in his car. It just gives it another touch of just a touch of class, and then also the names that they have on the car where they do have it placed. I followed him around many tracks, and I have to look at his name. I do know how to spell it now, because it's right up in your face. But it's a very nice looking car. That
riding on board with Marcus as well, and another thing to consider as well as we head through this race, just about to basically come to the halfway mark, just about, and it's getting a lot more darker, so that's another thing that these drivers will have to factor in. And maybe when it gets darker, from a past experience of doing endurance races in the dark, the brake markers you've got to be very, very careful about, and sometimes you have to be on your toes.
So if darkness does come over, it changes things a little bit. You have to rely on your memory rather than what you see. But I don't think it's going to get that dark around here. With half an hour to go, how dark it's going to get. It does pose another challenge though when the light disappears. It looks like the front pack have picked up some pace again. Triple A is just looking at Triple A's gap to them. He's sort of dropping off some pace there. He's doing just a tinge under 119s for his laps. Nothing that Stewart and Tyler are doing are lapping in the 117s. Mistaken. Oh, there we go. Just over 118 there. Andy Perks putting in some quick times.
Yeah, he's really quick at the moment, Andy, and I think he knows he can get by Paul Burgess. It's just trying to make the move and just trying to find somewhere to get by. But I think that's the case with Tyler and Stewart as well. Tyler seems to be the quicker driver, but Stewart's doing a good defensive job of keeping him behind. And I don't think Tyler I don't think he'll be in a rush to get by at the moment. I think he's just more than happy to sit in that slipstream and save some fuel, as Bob Burgess is the first one to blink of the front runners to make a pit stop.
Well, that is quite early. So if there's no safety car, then it may have to stop again. We'll see if anybody follows coming up now. What happens over the next few laps? He could have also just made a stop because Andy Perks was really on his tail and he was getting stuck between Rob Venn and Andy Perks. So just getting the pit stop out of the way and giving him some fresh air when he comes out. Mark Heron is in the pits now as well, so in the TCR. So we'll see how that plays out. And I think they're starting the TCRs to pull in now. So let's see, where does Paul come out? Paul's got some fresh air between him and the other car. So we'll see what happens once all the first pit stops get out of the way and where he filters back in. You may just get the jump on Rob Venn and Andy Perks, when they do come out. When they do come in and get back out, we'll see where that filters him back into the pack.
Yep, and Stefan Gobo's got the run. Timofeo, is he going to go for the move? And I think, yeah, looks like Stefan's going for the move up the inside, and it looks like he should be able to get that done.
Yeah, I think that was a good move by Stefan to go on the inside, because Tim had been driving the defensive line on the inside. But I think Stefan just seen that and taken the inside line before Tim could go there. It was a good move. Now Marcus Blitz coming up behind him. Let's see what he can do.
And Triple A's in the pits as well, so Triple A, I think he'll probably take that fast repair while he's at it, and yeah, pretty much out of contention for the win by the looks of it. But Marcus Blitz, like you say, is on the back of Timofeo now, and on the back of the Dunkin' Donut livery, and I do like that livery from Tim though. But back up at the front in GT4, we've still got this battle between Stuart, Dick and Tyler Noot going on, and Rob Venn has dropped off a little bit by the looks of it, so it looks like Tyler's got the run in Stuart, but is he going to be close enough to make a move? Stuart into the pits and the first one to blink.
Yeah, and Tyler is continuous. That means we're just past the halfway mark, so Tyler should be good and fuel to go to the end. It's gonna be short. Well, tight for Stuart, Rob, Andy, and probably sure that Paul will need to beat again.
All diving in now. Yeah, they're all diving in now. I think we know Tyler's going to do one stop now. Stuart has made it to the halfway mark, so I mean he should be able to make it around. Also with one stop. So we'll see how that plays out. I mean, if the safety car comes out, then we know they'll definitely only be doing one stop. So yeah, we'll see what happens now. Where does everybody come out? Like we see, Paul Burgess went in early, and you'll be hoping to come out close to Andy Perks and Rob Venn.
Yeah, and I think Tyler's been stuck behind Stuart for a while, so I think it just gave him the opportunity to use that slipstream and do some fuel saving. So I think Tyler, I'm guessing anyway, he might try and stretch it to the 25-minute remaining mark, and if he does that, he'll be good to the end.
Yeah, interesting thing, Paul did lose a bit of time over Andy, Rob and Stuart. He's now a bit behind them.
Yeah, he's lost quite a bit of time. There's something didn't go according to plan there, it seems. Mark Eden taking the lead now. Now that Gary Craig is... Chris Shaw is far up the airport. Is Gary Craig out? They're all done their pit stops now, except for Chris Shaw.
Yes, and Chris Shaw is in.
He's in now.
And we're still waiting for Tyler and Stefan Goebel to pit. Well, Stefan is in, so that's done and dusted.
I don't know what Tyler does, or if he's hiding an extra fuel tank somewhere in that car. Somehow he just manages to run a lot longer than everybody else. But it's not just about running longer; it's running at pace, at full pace. In that front pack, he was running at the same pace as Stuart was, and then still managing to save fuel. And here he comes in now. And I mean, this is two laps later than anybody else. So it's just he's just on another level. I shudder to think what it'd be like if he was driving full pace and not fuel saving. It's just so much faster.
Yeah, I think it would just be fuel only for Tyler. I think with the track when it's probably getting darker and darker and the track getting cooler and cooler, I think he should be fine to just take fuel only and no tires. So no tires at the moment by the looks of it. So yeah, it looks like fuel only by it looks like.
Yep, that was a very quick stop. I don't think he took tires there. Also didn't see the car lifting up, so it looks like he's made the jump on Stuart.
Stuart's coming round. Is he going to make? Oh, Stuart's off. Oh, I thought Stuart was going to the ones up the inside there.
He saved it. He looked like he did lose it, but he saved it. He hasn't gone off. So where does that leave us? So Paul Burgess has lost a place in the pit stops, and Tyler's got the jump on Stuart. The rest is pretty much stayed the same. It looks like Tim Matteo has passed Stefan Goebel again, so Stefan needs to get past Tim again a second time.
Indeed, and pretty much the positions after that in GT4 was Tyler Newitt, Stuart Dick, Rob Venn, Andy Perks. Good, that was a good stop by Perks. Paul Burgess 5th, Triple A 6th, Ben Cullen 7th, Tim Matteo 8th, Stefan Goebel 9th, and Marcus Blake 10th. And TCR at the moment is currently being led by Gary Craig, but he still has to make his pit stop, I believe.
No, Gary Craig has been to the pits. Chris Shaw did a long pit stop, almost 10 seconds more than everybody else.
Yeah, something like the Chris Shaw, maybe did he possibly take tyres? Because Gary Craig and Mark Hayden has gotten past Chris.
Let's see.
Stop.
Yeah, I was a bit confused. I thought Gary Craig still had to stop because I was expecting Chris Shaw to be in the lead again. As he takes tyres. Tyres all round by the looks of it, or just the fronts. But it was a long pit stop for him for sure.
Looks like Tyler's making a bit of a gap between himself and Stuart, and then seems to be a second gap between. But in fourth quarter, this is getting tight here. Mark Eden's going to have to keep his cool with Chris Shaw right on his tail. We all know Chris is extremely quick in this Audi, and Mark is going to have to just keep calm and just race his lines, get his just hit his apexes and exit. Just try and not worry about what he sees in the mirror. It's very easy to say that, but very different to actually do it when you've got Chris Shaw. And Chris has made the pass. Looks like Mark made it a little bit easy there.
Yeah, I thought he would have wanted to put up more of a fight, but it looks like he just decided that Chris got the run and Chris is maybe quicker and just decided not to fight him too hard. But he's still in third place at the moment, but he's got a very hungry Carl Hardy behind him, fighting for third place, and Mark Heron moves around just trying to distract Chris Shaw, but Chris Shaw is a really good driver with the TCR, and I don't think he'll be too intimidated. But I agree, guys. I'm one of those people, if I see someone behind me, I normally just switch my relative screen off and just focus on what's in front of me.
I think that also, I think Mark probably just looked at it and said, "Okay, let me pick my battles." Trying to defend Chris Shaw could be a lot slower than just driving behind him. Trying to stay in front of him, and watching, sort of driving in your mirrors rather than looking in front of you, is usually a lot slower than just going for it. So I think it might have been a good move to rather chase him than having those lights behind you. We see Stefan is back up on the back of Tim. We'll see if it will be hard for him to pass again. Who's that in the pits? Martin Brennan in the pits? Is that a scheduled pit stop? Did something happen there? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm not so sure, but I think Martin might have had issues that we missed. But yeah, Stefan's still on the back of Tim, and like we saw before, Tim's not an easy person to get by. But it looks like back in TCR, Mark Heron runs wide, and that gives Carl Hardy an opportunity to try and get a run and try and make a move for third place. But I don't think Mark's going to make it easy as they come across the start-finish line now. And
turn one inside lines, they should be okay.
Yeah.
I wonder something must have happened to Martin. I don't know if Stacey's distracted him at home again. but he's still in the pits. I'm assuming something must have happened somewhere. Stewart's closing the gap on Tyler. Lapped a little, even though Tyler's lapped a little bit faster. Oh no, at another timing screen, it's looking a little weird there. It's jumping about. Chris Shaw's really on the tail of. He's already put a 4-second gap to Mark Eden since he's passed him. It just shows, I mean, Chris Shaw obviously I think he's won our TCR league here already. He's just got the pace. It's going to be very difficult to, it's very difficult to hold him back. But let's see what Gary Craig can do for the next 20 minutes. If he can hold him up, it will be a good showing. Let's hope he can.
Yeah, he's managed to close up in Gary already, and I think I don't know if Gary's maybe just struggling with driving in the dark. It's been dark before during the season, but not as much. But Sonoma as well, it doesn't really have any lighting around the track, so spotting your braking point sometimes can be a bit problematic. But as we look at the battle between Timofeo and Stefan Goebel, and looks like Stefan's teammate Marcus Blitz in the background. Does Stefan go for a move?
Yeah. It's when it comes to chasing and following a driver, you really need to trust the one in front of you, that he's not going to do anything silly. Any sharp, any quick moves, or you're hoping he's going to be, he's going to follow a certain line. Because as soon as he swerves from that line, you need to be on the brakes, and that just kills your momentum that you have. And it looks like that's what happened there with Stefan.
Yeah, I think Stefan might be getting a bit frustrated as well as Tim runs wide, and it gives Stefan an opportunity to get the run. But again, Stefan can't get by, and credit to Timofeo, who's doing a great defensive job as he gets sideways, and that gives Stefan a chance to get a run and gain the position.
What Stefan needs to do now is just drive away from. Just drive. He is quicker than Timofeo at this stage, so he just needs to put a gap between him and Tim so he doesn't come under pressure from Tim again at any stage in the last 15, 20 minutes. Oh, so Abdul done it again.
Yep. Just pushing too hard, clipped to gravel, and just got a bit of wheel spin, and from then on he was just a passenger into the wall.
You look at the wheel on Abdul's screens, it's just 90 degrees left. That's...
Yeah, he's got some maybe damage. Oh, Tim has gone off as well.
Like...
does he come together with?
Yeah, it looks like Marcus and Tim had a bit of a coming together as we've got the replay now.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Can we take that back to? Can you take that back to Marcus in on board? Yeah, he's definitely got the run here, and he goes up the inside, and Tim was just a whole lot slower through that corner there.
Yeah, I think Marcus just got caught out by Tim just being a little bit more slower than Marcus carrying more momentum. It's just that corner is so easy to have an incident or a slight bit of contact like we saw there, and Chris Shaw putting on the pressure on Gary Craig, but Gary Craig's not letting Chris Shaw intimidate him that much. And yeah, Gary Craig, he's like I said earlier in the broadcast, he's been having a great run of form, and at the moment he's doing well again, the leader in TCR. But the question is, can he hold off Chris Shaw to take the win in the last 16 minutes and 45 seconds?
I know. Just going back to that incident with Timofeo and Marcus Blitz, I think that when at times when if you've got a bad exit and the car behind you's got the run on you, you just need to be aware that car is going to come through, and and sometimes you can't battle for that position. You just need to concede because the car behind you's just got to beat it on. And if you don't, then you see this happen. Looking at that there, Tim was a bit slower. He could have been a little bit further to the left, perhaps, and given him a bit more space, considering. So yeah, unfortunately, they came together there, and it's cost them both. What does it look like? 15, 20 seconds behind the pack now, behind Stefan.
Yeah, and we just saw Chris Shaw going by Gary Craig for first place in the TCR, and Abdul in the chat don't understand with that shunt. Yeah, of course, though. We saw the wheel steering 90 degrees left, which is really bad. But you fight well, you did a great show, and we got some news from Martin Brennan on Discord. Retired as probably glitching like a gutton. I don't know if it's a real word or if you just misspell it, but yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, his internet connection is connecting to the internet via a mobile. It's been glitching, and he rather pulled it in than get in front of everybody else and spoil the race for everybody else. So unfortunate.
Scott Malcolm's on the back of James Neve as well, heading into the final corner, and it's not been, I wouldn't say it's not been a bad race for Scott, but he seems to have flashes of speed and pace, but other times he just seems to have an off day, and currently towards the rear of the field in TCR, it looks like he's trying to make a move on James, and can he get the move done? Tries to do a switchback, but doesn't get the run.
It's a very difficult corner to make a pass. It's easy to get the run up the, to get the run from the main straight, but then coming up that hill to go side by side, you're not going to make the pass on the outside. Yeah, Scott's definitely not a P10 driver. He's just been, it's just a mistake here and there, or that sort of costs him. But yeah, he's definitely got the pace to be further up the field. And yeah, like you can see, he's really on the back of Neve now, really pestering him. So yeah, hopefully he can get that pass and then start chasing down Pete Van Gogh.
Yeah, I think Scott, he's mentioned in the past before that the qualifying always seems to be his weak link. So I think that's what's letting him down in races. If he was further up on the grid, I think he could be, right up there challenging for podiums possibly, or maybe top fours anyway. But he's got the run in James heading across the line and heading up the hill. But I don't think he's close enough to make a move. But looking at Pete Bingham as well, and Pete's one of those drivers that he can be up there as well, and then other times he can be not off the pace, but just seems to have bad luck at times. But at the moment, it looks like he's given David Ayres a run for his money, and
I can't believe it's 47 minutes into this race, and it's the first time we're mentioning Pete Bingham. Has it really been that quiet? He hasn't been on the grass anywhere. He hasn't been in the wall. Have you missed anything, Ryan?
I don't think so. I think
saying this is very strange and different that he hasn't been. He's been on track for the full 47 minutes quietly.
Yeah, he's normally on the grass somewhere, like you mentioned, or having an accident. Hopefully Pete doesn't watch this, because otherwise he'll probably come round to my house and slap me in the face. But anyway, as I looking at Rob Venn and Andy Perks at the moment battling for third place, and I have to say Andy's been having a great race, and this is probably the quickest that he's been this season, and he's up there challenging for a podium. So if he can get a podium, this will be his best result of the season, I believe. But they've got a TCR card, one of the BSTV eSport green cars, which might hold them up a little bit.
So Rob Venn is in front of him. It's not a TCR. Who's the TCR that's in front of? Is that a TCR in front of?
That is Pete Bingham.
Oh, that Pete Bingham in front of him there. Let's hope that they're on the comms and he lets them by. Doesn't hold Rob Vin up too much. Rob is having a good race in third place again. I've mentioned it before earlier about the improvement, and he's really holding that third place. So hope you can get by here. Pete pulls into the pits. Good choice by Pete to pull out of the way there. Good teamwork. Paul has also come in there in the GT4 for a second stop.
Yep, so it looks like some of the people that pitted early before the halfway mark might have just made the wrong choice with regards to strategy, but Marcus Blake is on the back of Timofeo, and I think I don't know, did Timofeo let Marcus Blake's cats back up? If he did, that's good sportsmanship, but even though he wasn't at fault for that incident.
No, I think Marcus didn't pass Tim at the incident. I think Marcus let Tim go, and now he's trying to make another move down. It's getting really dark. It's getting really dark now. So we'll see what happens in this last 10 minutes. Everything could be exciting. What's this here? Is that Andy Perks? So Rob Finn has gotten past. Is that Scott Malcolm? Who's that's in between them there?
Let me have a look.
It's David. It's David.
there.
Yeah. So basically, Rob has been through David first, and he lost a bit of time there.
Okay, so that's given Rob a bit of breathing room. Marcus Blitz still chasing after Tim. Very difficult customers, as we mentioned, to get past. We've seen many of these guys who are traditionally I say traditionally, I use the term loosely, who've been sort of faster than. Oh, what's happening here? Stewart making a move on Tyler.
Yeah, so Stuart retakes the lead from Tyler, and as we've just got under 10 minutes to go, and it looks like Tyler might have made a mistake.
Tyler makes mistakes? Didn't know that happens. What happened here?
Oh, Tyler!
Oh, he's gone on the grass. He's gone a little bit wide there, and Stewart pounced.
I'm interested to see. Sorry, yes.
And that just shows something I mentioned earlier. Tyler knew he didn't have the run there. Didn't just sort of conceded that track position to Stewart because he knew he wasn't going to make the run. Instead of trying to make it difficult, he's just let Stewart go for now. So the two of them will battle on for the last 8 minutes of this race. Oh, that was close to the pit wall there.
Yeah. As Marcus Blitz is still in the back of Timofeo, but it looks like Scott Malcolm's making a move on James Neve coming across the line, and I think Scott will have the inside line for turn 2, and he gets by, and Jamie just decides not to make a big deal of it. But Scott Malcolm up into 8th place in TCR, and it's one of those races for him of what could have been.
That looks much better, but does he need to stop again? We'll need to wait and see.
And Triple A in the chat as well saying that Tyler is fuel saving, so I wonder.
I don't think Tyler needs to fuel save anymore. He's definitely saved enough in the first stint. He's definitely got enough to go full out for this last few laps.
I'm interested to see if Stuart has to pit as well, or pit again as well, but I don't know. I think it might be close on fuel for Stuart, but I think he's got just enough to get to the end, as Rob Venn is under massive pressure from Andy Perks, and I think in the background, who is that? Is that Ben Cullen by the looks of it?
No, I think that the time when
Stuart's off.
Stuart's made a mistake. No, it looks like Ben is about quite a while back there. What has Stuart done? Oh, he's cutting too early there, and that's that could be the effects of the dock. He's taking that corner quite early. Yeah, we see this battle again going on.
Oh, it's is that Marcus? I think Marcus might have just had contact with Tim, and is Marcus going to do the right thing and wait for Tim to go by? Yes, he is. So good sportsmanship from him.
Tim needs to find his first gear in.
They're both waiting on each other.
I think from teammates. No, go ahead, mate. I've enough to fall today. That's fine. Go for it.
It's putting away. Oh, is this Tyler pulling away? There's a big gap between Andy Perks and Ben Cullen now, so I don't know who that was. I think it was probably a TCR in the background that we saw a little bit earlier that we thought, we were trying to figure out who was that was behind him. Robin's doing well here to keep Andy Perks behind him. Andy's definitely been lapping. His lap times have been very quick. So Rob's doing a very good job keeping him behind him there. And now they're coming up to traffic again, so I think it was at Carl Hardy.
Yeah, I think it was.
That's interesting because now they're coming up to the leading TCR, so so now when they come up to Carl and they come up to Mark, they don't want to cost him any time. They don't want to. They're doing a race of their own, so they also still they don't want to lose too much time letting these guys by.
Yep, I think Rob will get up the inside, and shouldn't be any problems. And the TCR car leaves just enough room for both of them to get by. So good awareness, and Rob Ben doing a great job as well under huge pressure from Andy Perks. And even if Andy doesn't finish on the podium, it's still been a great drive by him to finish in fourth. And excuse me, it'll be a great result for him. But Stefan Gobel's been caught up by Paul Burgess as well, so it looks like he could lose another position. But I think as we come into the final 3 minutes, I think Stefan won't make it easy for Paul to get by.
I think what Tyler wants to try and do now is to try and push as fast as he can go here to get as many laps in as possible. If he can push fast enough and get another lap in, before the white flag drops, it will just make it a little bit more difficult for Stewart to go all the way. Stewart is sort of on the line when it comes to how much fuel he has. Oh, what's happened there?
And Paul's got by Stefan.
Looks like Stefan just gave up that position there, so I don't know if something happened. But yeah, the strategy for Tyler now is, he put it 2 laps later than anybody else, and Stewart is going to be on the limit. So if Tyler can get an extra lap in, before the white flag drops, that will definitely be in his favor.
Absolutely. As both these guys come across the line now, and Tyler is he's been reined back in by Stuart Dick, and I don't know if Tyler's maybe struggling with the dark, or just I think because I'll be honest, racing in the dark is slightly difficult from my experience. But Stuart Dick, I think he's just that quicker driver at the moment, and Tyler's just Tyler's not trying to make any mistakes, and he's doing a good job trying to keep Stuart behind. But Stuart is getting really, really close now.
Oh, what's happening to Tyler? Is bouncing. It looks like his connection is in and out there. That can't be fun for Stewart to follow, not knowing when Tyler pops back up.
Yeah, Tyler's blinking a lot, so internet problems by the looks of it, or maybe just having stuttering problems in the dark, as Stuart Dick came so close to tapping the rear of Tyler Newitt.
Just as it's just very difficult to chase a car that's blinking like that. So hopefully the connection stabilizes now in this last lap or two. So probably this will be the second last lap. I think there'll be one more
Yeah, I
after
think
this.
2 laps more, including this one.
So Tyler may be struggling at the moment. Maybe that decision not to take tyres at the pit stop might have been a bad mistake. But as they come so close to the wall and just
That's tight on the wall there. Wow, Stuart. Really getting close there.
yeah, Stuart's giving it absolutely everything to try and get by Tyler, and Tyler won't make it easy. But with his blinking problems, it might be a bit frustrating for Stuart to try and get by as they're coming up to one of the BSTV Esports TCR cars, and it looks like Pete Button by the looks of it.
It looks like his
Gary.
connection is stabilized again, so that looks fine. So you were saying, Sam?
It's Gary Craig in front.
Oh, it's Gary Craig. My apologies.
Oh, and if they don't get past in his front of he's heading him through, that's a good man, Gary. Because after this corner, it'd be very difficult to pass. So that's a good move by Gary to just let him through there. And it's good awareness because he knows he's 12 seconds behind Chris, and what's happened to Mark Heron?
Mark Heron just did a pit stop the lap before. He had to pit 1 lap short for Mark.
Oh, so
And this is close
so he
because
was
this is the
running up
last
there and
lap.
dropped a few because of pit strategy. He's definitely shown his pace again this week. Once again, just I guess the strategy just wasn't in his favor. Is this the last lap? Or is there one more after this?
This
is the last one.
The last lap. So can Stuart make it work on the last bend?
Stuart's trying to go on the outside, but he might try and do a switch back. Can he hold it on the outside? No, Tyler's going to hold on to it, and Tyler knew it's going to come across the line and take the win this evening. And Stuart Dick's going to finish second. So great battle between those guys. And Stuart Dick, he's going really slow. So don't know if he was close on fuel, but manages to make it anyway. And rounding at the top 3 is going to be Rob Venn by the looks of it, with Andy Perks closely behind.
It was a very good drive by Rob Venn to keep Andy Perks behind him for that long. Well done to Rob. So who's in 5th place? Is that Ben Cullen coming in 5th? It's also a good race for Ben. Paul Burgess coming in 6th. If he can keep it in the last corner, and he does. Stefan Gorbel behind him.
The TCR is going to be won. TCR is going to be won by Chris Shaw as well, with Gary Craig in 2nd. And that looks like just waiting for the rest of the field to finish, and in a few minutes' time we'll take you through the results. But what did you think of that race, Gaz? That was a pretty good one in TCR and GT4.
Yeah, that was a good race to watch. I think there was a lot of different things going on. And there's Chris Shaw just coming over the line now. It looks like he was the only one on the lead lap. Everybody else had already finished. But yeah, it was a good back and forth between Tyler and Stuart, as we thought it was going to be. Both of them made a couple of mistakes. But yeah, it's a good finish for both of them. I think that Stuart will be happy with that 2nd place. They're looking at the results here. We've got Tyler Newitt, BSTV Esport Yellow, the winner once again. And then Stuart Dick in the asymmetric GT4, 2nd place. Rob Venn, good finish by Rob Venn, BSTV Esports Orange. Andy Perks driving on his own there, good following race behind Rob Venn there for 4th. Ben Cullen picked up that 5th place for BSTV Orange. Paul Burgess, Nightlight Racing in 6th. Stefan Gorbel, VTS Germany. Marcus Pritz in 8th for VTS Germany. Timotheo, something happened there, didn't dropped out 5 laps from the end with that accident with Marcus. Abdul also having some issues, finishing in 10th, and then Jaroslav Sabula didn't make a great start there, finishing in 11th in the GT4s.
In the TCR class, we had Chris Shaw holding on to take the win for Ascari Autosport, with BSTV Esports Green, Gary Craig in second, with Carl Hardy finishing in third to take a well-reserved podium for Result Clothing. Fourth was Jamie Jeffrey for CCR, with David Ayres in fifth for Result Clothing. Pete Van Gogh for Work Guard by Result, 7th place. Mark Heron for Asymmetric TCR. Scott Malcolm in 8th for BSTV Esports Yellow. 9th, Pete Bingham for BSTV Esports Green. 10th, Roger Morton for Matthews Transport iRacing team. James Neve in 11th for the same team. And Martin Brennan rounding out the results in 12th, and who unfortunately had to retire from the race. But it looks like we've got a few people waiting in the booth, and I think, first off, we'll probably take Tyler Newt, who won in GT4, if we can get him in here. As Tyler joins us now, and Tyler, welcome to the booth.
Hi guys.
Yeah, that was a pretty good race for you, and it looked like you and Mr. Stuart Duck had a fun battle for the win and for most of the race. But in the closing stages, it just seemed to be that he had that issue and managed to close you back down. But were you struggling in the dark, or was it just Stuart having that bit more pace?
No, it was the tires. The tires were gone for me by the second stint. We were playing fuel games the whole race, which was so much fun. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. But I knew Stuart was saving in the first stint, so all I did was try and save more than he did. And I did that. I managed to do, I think, 25 laps in the first stint. He only did 23. I knew from the pace we were doing it was going to be a 26-lap race. So I figured if I could push, I could get him to use too much fuel. And I almost didn't do a good enough job because it took until the final corner, the exit of the final corner, for him to run out. I was certain he was going to go by me there. After I'd already thought I'd thrown away the race earlier on in that stint when I went wide at the top of the hill because, I short filled just a bit to make sure I got out in front of him. And I got to the top of the hill and threw it away. And I was like, well, I'm done. And then fortunately, Stuart did the same because I think it was going to come down to who was in front at the end, no matter what. It was just that tight between the two of us.
And then you mentioned you didn't take tires. Was there any reason for that? Was it just a strategy call, just to try and stay ahead, or was it just did you think you could get to the end without changing tires and still had the grip left, if you like?
I knew the tires were going to be rough. I'd done quite a bit of practice in a couple of official races. The problem with these races is it only makes sense to take tires if one side wears dramatically more than the other. And at Sonoma, they both wear pretty much equally. So it was either take all tires or no tires. If there was going to be a safety car, I would have taken tires, but there wasn't. So, and actually, I probably would have rethought that strategy with how the race was going because, everybody in that GT4 field had pretty reasonable pace. So, Rob, can't say enough about the pace that Rob has brought to the table the last few weeks. He's been, right thereabouts. And what is this, like his 5th podium in a row or something? So really happy for him and the team. I know Gary had a nice podium too. So all in all, just a really solid day.
It's a question I've been meaning to ask before, but you're in the BMW and Rob's in the Porsche. Do you find that affects you or hinders you in any way when it comes to doing practice, or is it just kind of personal preference and do you still help each other out?
The setup options in these cars are so basic that it's not that big a deal to not be able to share setups between the two of us. As far as, it was nice when we were both in the Porsche because, I could pass line tips to him and he could do the same back to me. But, it's just the car he's more comfortable in. And at this level of pace and setup availability, that's what you need, is whatever you're comfortable in. So I have no problem with Rob being in the Porsche. He's clearly found some pace with it. I'm pretty happy with how the BMW's been treating me. So I feel like we're probably going to continue on this path for the foreseeable future.
And looking ahead to the final round at Bathurst next week, you're still mathematically in contention for the championship. Do you
I'm
think
more than mathematically. You kidding me?
I mean,
I'm well in contention for the championship. I want to win this.
I'll take that back. You're still in contention for the championship. Do you think you can stop Stewart? Do you think you can pull something out the hat, or do you think it'll be a tough task?
Well, I made sure while we were all fuel saving and the tires were still good, I made sure to set the fastest lap that I could, in the hopes that I would grab the fastest lap points today, and I did, which pulls me, I think, 29 points behind Stewart, if my calculations are correct, which means that if I get pole fastest lap and win, that I win the championship. And given how I get along with Bathurst, I think that's very doable.
And before we let you go, Tyler, anyone that you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, of course. Shout out to BSTV as always, for the broadcasts and for the team. Shout out to Clyde and Bill, who I know wanted to be here, I'm sure, but couldn't. I haven't watched the broadcast, but I'm sure you guys did a fine job. And shout out to EDF Motorsports, series sponsor, and Sacred, and all the other sponsors on our cars. Really appreciate it. And shout out to Stewart. I mean, that battle is what we live for, I think, in racing, and it was fun. It was a fun hour for me, as fun as it was stressful. So shout out to Stewart for pushing me all day, and really, really glad I was able to pull this one off.
Great to hear. Well, again, congratulations on the win, Tyler, and we look forward to seeing you on track at Bathurst next week for the final round.
Yeah, thanks, Ryan.
As try to think who we could let you interview, Yaz. Do you fancy taking second place man Stuart Dick?
Sure, no problem. Hi, Stuart. Welcome to the booth here.
Hi, Yaz. Hello.
Yeah, you're being interviewed by royalty at the moment, so be nice. Well done on that second place there, chasing Tyler. Tyler was chasing you, and you were chasing Tyler, and then Tyler was chasing you, and then eventually you had to chase Tyler. But second place, how did that go?
It was hard work. The start of the race was pretty boring, really. The first stint, I was just going as slow as I possibly could, while still keeping Tyler behind, because the Porsche is so tight on fuel. And then after that, it's pedal to the metal. A little bit of frustration, kind of middle of the second stint there, but me and Scott have kissed and made up with that one. But yeah, it was good. All I need to do is keep finishing behind Tyler, and I still win the championship. So as long as I'm one place behind him, that's. I would rather have won, but as long as I'm one spot behind him, that's good enough for me.
Yeah, he mentioned now that he got the fastest lap, so you got 5 points for that. But I think you got pole position, which sort of gives you the 5 points back.
Yeah, I think there's I think he's got his calculations a bit wrong there, so hopefully he gets it wrong next week as well. There's 34 points in it.
And how did you find the fuel saving? Since I know you're not very big on doing fuel saving. So this would have been quite different.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of it, as at all. I had to do it tonight. The pit lane here is just far too long, as I said in Discord. If I didn't, I'd have finished about 7th probably.
Yeah, that is true. So you sort of have to play that game.
Yeah.
And we saw Tyler go off, and then we saw you go off. Was that just due to it being dark, or what was going on there?
Well, I don't know what happened with Tyler, but he just made a mistake. But I was so tight on fuel because obviously I ran out, and I'm asking Mark, who's got race labs running, how many laps to go, and he was telling me as I was going through that corner, and I'm focused on one thing instead of driving, and just went straight on there, and it's opened the door again for Tyler. That's my error, though.
Yeah, but you're still in the lead in the championship, so that's good news. So looking forward to next week, which is the showdown for the championship. Bathurst, a track that is not particularly an easy one to finish on. How are you feeling about that?
I enjoy Bathurst, but you're right, Yaz. It's one of those tracks where any of us could quite easily put it in the wall twice and kill the car. But again, I'm quite happy finishing one spot behind Tyler. That's enough for me. I'll go out and try and win it, obviously, but if I need to finish one spot behind him, I will.
Okay. Do you have any words for your teammate who didn't help you out today?
Yeah, he's just needing to do better, isn't he? Spinning on the first lap and then crashing later in the race is shocking. I'll need to have words with him when I'm finished here.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the race. Well done in that second place. Is there anybody you'd like to have a shout out to? Say thank you to?
Again, I'll reciprocate and give Tyler a shout there because that was a fantastic race. But the second half anyway, it was a lot of fun.
Oh, good. Glad to hear that. Well done again on your second place.
Thanks,
Good
Paul.
luck for next week.
Easy.
Cheers. So, do we want to get in third place GT4? Rob Venn?
Yeah, why not? Let's get him as Rob Venn. Welcome to the booth. First off, congratulations on the third place in GT4, but you were pretty much up there in the first half of the race behind Tyler and Stuart. And
Yeah.
Toward the end of the race, you had a great battle with Andy Perks for third place.
Yeah. I mean, at the beginning I think there was a train of 5 of us, wasn't there? Because there was obviously Tyler, Stuart, and myself, and then and Paul behind. And yeah, it was. To be honest, it was quite a hard race for me because I had someone on my tail pretty much the entire race. So it's quite hard work. And Andy did a brilliant job in keeping up with me and putting pressure on me and stuff like that. I was really struggling at the end just to keep in front. So.
Yeah, and towards the end of the season, you've been putting up pretty much improving and getting a good run of podiums as well. Second place at Interlagos last week and a third place here tonight. But towards the end of the season, in general, what do you think has been helping you improve? I mean, obviously, like practice helps, but is there anything else that's been helping you, or has Tyler been helping you with both of you being teammates?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler's been helping me quite a lot because obviously we tend to do the same practice sessions and that type of thing. And he helps with strategy and stuff like that because obviously you sort of bounce ideas off of each other and stuff like that. It's lots of little things. It's sort of interesting because I've sort of set my rig up a bit better. I've got a bit more confident on the brakes. I've done a lot more practice. I'm doing the occasional official race now to get my racecraft a bit better, and getting through traffic and stuff like that. So it's lots of little things, and it's sort of very motivating where you get the good results and that type of thing. It obviously drives you to practice a bit more and practice a bit harder and push yourself on a bit more. And that's where I'm sort of feeling like I'm gaining time all the time now. I'm gaining on sort of Tyler and Stuart now a little bit. So the odd 10th there and that type of thing.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump in here. I mean, sorry, Rob. Yeah, it's Yaz here in the interview booth. I kept singing your praises in the broadcast. I mean, last season we were sort of battling for 7th and 8th place and all that, and you've made such massive improvements that I don't know what Tyler mentioned, it's about 5 podiums in a row now. The improvement has been massive, and like you said, small things that are there, and practice. So well done on the improvement that you have made. And I hope you really can keep it up. And then, obviously going into next week at Bathurst, how are you feeling about that one?
To be honest, we've been practicing for the 12 hours a bit with Tyler and stuff, and Tyler's got Bathurst nailed. He's pretty awesome around there. But yeah, I mean, that's where I need to be giving Stuart a problem and Triple A and Paul. In that race, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it because it's a track I like, but I'm not necessarily that quick there. But that's right. Yeah, I just got to put the time in, do the practice, try and find the time on the track, and just work from there.
Okay. If is there anyone you'd like to thank before you go?
Yeah, so I thank the EDF Motorsport for sponsoring the championship. Sacred Coffee for sponsoring the team. All you guys for helping out in terms of setting up the stream and doing the interviews and the commentary and all that type of thing. All the other drivers, because I think the drivers sort of make this championship because there's lots of good characters and then the racing's difficult but fair. It's very fair, and all the people that watch him.
Well done again on your podium finish, and I hope you can keep it up for next week. thanks again, and well done.
Yeah, thank you.
So who do we have in for the TCRs?
TCRs, we've got Gary Craig and Scott Malcolm. If you want to do Gary Craig, Yaz, and I'll take Scott Malcolm afterwards.
All right, sure. Hi, Gary. Congratulations on that second place win. Welcome to the booth. How did that go for you?
That was good. Yeah, I was enjoying that. I was being surprised by Sonoma this week in the TCR. I'm not a big fan of Sonoma at all, but this layout in this car is really good fun to drive. So it's good fun driving experience. The race went about as good as it could be, to be honest. From what I hear, Chris took tyres in his pit stop, which is why he was so quick afterwards. I know he's quicker than me, but when he drove past and just drove away, I was kind of wondering what the hell was going on. But I was never really expecting to win that one, so to get second was pretty good result, I think.
Yeah, I think well, you've done well to sort of keep up with Tom and Chris this season. You've really cemented that third place spot. But in this race, you had a bit of battle. I think it was Mark Hedden at one stage who was really chasing you.
Mark slipped down the inside at the very start of the race in that hairpin on the first lap, and I gave him plenty of room, but I didn't realise how tight he held it. And by the time I'd kind of straightened up a bit, he was already in front of me. So I maybe gave too much room, but I was just fully concentrating on saving fuel in that first stint, so I didn't mind. I just hit my fuel number so that I could get that extra lap, so that I could just push all the way to the end in the second, and it worked out because he had to pit for a second stop, and Carl was saving fuel behind me, but after the pit stops I had a few seconds on him. So yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, Carl did have a good race up front there. He also finished third, I think, so he's also had a good result. In terms of the fuel strategy there, what how are you finding this fuel saving? I know it's been a contentious issue with quite a few of the drivers, some of them liking it, some of them don't. What is your take on it?
So I quite like the fuel saving insofar as that it opens up options, and I've generally done quite well out of it, I think. But saying that, there's been a few races this year where it's made the races less enjoyable from a out and out racing perspective. Like last week, for example, we just ran around for 40 minutes with nobody trying to overtake anyone. We were all just sat in each other's draft and we were all driving slowly because nobody wanted to be in the lead. This week it wasn't so bad because it was a bit of a fuel saving stint followed by a flat out stint. Some of the races that have been 2 stops have been a lot of fun because that's been full pushing. I think it's been more fun when it's been flat out all the way. So in my opinion, I would either limit the fuel to 25 to force 2 stops, or make it 40 so that you've got a 20-minute window where you have to do 1 stop in between minute 20 and minute 40. That's my personal opinion on the fuel. But again,
it does add another dimension. Well, it was good to experience it nonetheless. I mean, we would never have known how it was, but yeah, like you said, it has added another dimension, which is sometimes enjoyable and sometimes not. Looking forward to Bathurst next week. What are your feelings about that?
that all depends on how quickly I can get Bathurst in the GT3 out of my head, because I'll be doing the 12-hour there this weekend. So so I might just be thundering into the corners and trying for the GT3 braking line and getting it all wrong for a few laps. So I've never driven the TCR there, so that's going to be a new experience for me. But I quite enjoy Bathurst, and it's been the same in a lot of cars where you get tracks that are quite tight and offer a lot of danger. I tend to do quite well because I'm all right at staying out of the wall. I drive within myself, so I'm kind of fingers crossed that I can do that and not get caught up in anyone else's accidents and hopefully have a good race.
That you say that it's about you can keep it off the walls, but you also need to make sure that you stay out of anybody else's way. But well done on that second place. Is there anyone you'd like to say thank you to?
Yeah, of course, you guys, and especially you for jumping in here, Yaz, because I know it's obviously quite last minute, and I'll watch it back and see how things went. But yeah, thanks for the broadcast. Thanks to both Sam and Ryan as well. Thanks to the sponsors, to Sacred for sponsoring the car, and to EDF for the series. We'll always thank everyone who watches and everyone who races. So yeah, cheers, guys.
Cheers, man. Well done again, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Anne.
And I believe up next, the last interview for tonight is Scott Malcolm in the TCR class, finishing in 8th. And Scott, it's again, you look like you're doing all right in practice, but in the race, it's another case of, I guess, what could have been. But 8th place in TCR, I guess it's still a decent result by your standards.
Nah, I think I should be a wee bit higher than that. I don't think I should be finishing that far down in these kind of races. I know I'm a bit better than that, and it's just, I would say that was a disappointing result for myself.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think? Like I've asked you before, but what do you think you could be working on? Do you think qualifying is probably the main problem that it lets you down sometimes and causes you to be further back in the field in the TCR class, or is it just a case of just needing to work harder and get better?
It's the qualifying. It's the qualifying that's just frustrates me. I don't know. I just don't know what I need to do. I'm trying to get draft. I get draft. I go slower. I go out on moan and do laps, and I will go a bit faster. But those fastest, what the times are getting put on the board, I think, how are they doing these times?
Yeah, I'll admit it's frustrating sometimes when you know you can go quicker, but it's just a matter of trying to clean it up. But overall, the race, what did you think of it? We saw at times you were in a battle with a few people, and I think we saw you in a battle with Jamie Jeffrey. I think no, not Jamie Jeffrey. I think it was James Neve towards the end. I can't remember exactly what's as bad of me.
Yeah, with James Neve, I think his name was. James Neve. Aye, it was quite hard to get by. He knew how to make that car quite wide, but I think, I don't know if he was fuel saving or if he lost his tyres, or he maybe just the darkness came down and he wasn't too sure, because I think I heard somebody else say he was like, he started braking a wee bit earlier than he usually was in the dark. So I don't know.
And looking ahead to Bathurst next week, how do you think you'll get on there? Do you think you can get a good result and maybe finish higher up in the field, or do you think is it one of those tracks that is kind of do you go well there or not so well?
Well, usually I go well there. I like that track, and I hope to get a good result there, because unfortunately that's going to be my last race in this series for a wee while. Going to be doing other things on a Wednesday night, but I will be back later.
That's a shame to hear, but as hopefully you can get a decent result at Bathurst to round out the season. And before we let you go, is there any questions from you to Scott, Yaz?
It was a bit of a up and down race there for you, Scott. I said on the broadcast, you have the pace. It's just about putting the race together. So just well done. Hopefully next week at Bathurst you can get a good result.
Yeah, I hope so too. Yes, I hope so too.
Anybody you'd like to say thank you to, Scott?
Obviously the Backfire Simsport guys for putting on these podcasts, organising this series. It's been a great three seasons been here, and hopefully see you guys later on in the year.
Thanks very much. Cheers, Scott. Well done again.
Cheers, guys.
As that was Scott Malcolm joining us in the booth, and with the interviews done, it's time to get down to business. And the business of picking the driver of the day. So I think we'll start with you guys. Who do you think was your driver of the day, and why do you choose them?
Well, I'm by default I'm supposed to choose Paul because he's my teammate. But but no, I've got to say that today I've got to give it to Rob Vin. He drove with someone in his mirrors through the whole race and kept it together. With the improvement that he's shown in his consistency, definitely Rob Vin gets my vote.
And over to you, Sam.
Well, that's gonna be Rob Van for me as well. He did a great race today, really improved recently. I was about to pick him last week, but it was Tyler for me last week, so it's gonna be Rob Van this week. Yeah.
And I don't know who to choose. There was so many good drives in TCR and GT4, but I think I'm going to go with someone different just because he kept out of trouble and managed to get himself up further up in the GT4 results. I'm going to go with Andy Perks because he was just he was in that battle for the podium positions in the first half of the race, but finished in fourth place, which is still a great result. So that's my driver of the day. As it looks like, if we're pretty much done for this evening. But yeah, before we go, thanks to anyone that's been watching, anyone that's tuned in on the chat, and before we go, we've got some other stuff on BSR or BSTV. Sorry, I'll get it right. But we've got some other stuff coming up in the week. On Sunday, we've got the GT3 series, I believe, and we've got a whole range of other stuff coming up. So make sure to tune in then and watch. But thanks to anyone that's been watching tonight, and we will see you next time.
Good evening, everybody.
Yeah, there's not gonna be a lot this week, Ryan. The GT3 has ended. No, that's fine. Don't worry. GT3 has ended last week. We've got a bit of a week off, and it will be back next week for Media Day, if I'm not mistaken. But all the information will be on Discord, and just follow YouTube, Facebook, and everything, and you will know what you need to know about the next broadcast of the GT3 race. Next broadcast will be just for me tomorrow. I will be doing cameras for one of race, and next real broadcast from Backfire Simsport TV will be next week on Wednesday with batters for the GT4 TCR EDF Challenge.
I'll be back in the car. I'll definitely be back in the car for next week. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Cool, awesome. Yes, Will, looking forward to see you back in the car. It's gonna be awesome. Thanks again for joining us today. Really appreciate it. You do a better job than Clyde, so that's perfect.
That's not setting the bar very high, or did I say that out in public? You'll probably not invite me ever again. But it was fun. It was really enjoyable. I could do this again.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Ryan, as well, and we'll see you next week again on Wednesday. And thanks everyone for watching.
Yep, thanks very much to anyone that's watched, and we'll see you next week.